Hey guys, welcome to another episode with the Formless Guide. Today we explore the unnameable of who or what is God. Now when you say God, what do you mean? A name, a presence, or a silence? I was given images, thrones, fathers, light. I was taught to reach upward, but somewhere along the line, the upward dissolved, and what remained was everywhere. This is not a teaching, it's a shedding. Today, we ask not to define God, but to feel what remains when the definitions fall away. We all have inherited images of what God is like or who is God. I was taught to look up, to imagine a throne, a father, a judge, a light too bright to touch. In Christianity, God was love, but also law, the Father of the Son, Jesus Christ. In Shinto, the divine was everywhere. Kami in the wind, the river, the fox. In Theravada Buddhism, there was no God, only the path, the silence, the release. Zen offered no image, only the sound of one hand clapping. I inherited all of these fragments. Some comforted me, some confined me, but none could hold all of what I was becoming, and that was everything. There was a cracking open, a dream, an ocean I had, with no shore, a sky with no night. I stood in it, or maybe I dissolved into it. And everything I thought I was, every name, every role, every image of God, of something greater, it began to fade, not violently, not with grief, just gently. I didn't lose God, I lost the edges. And what remained wasn't a being, it was a presence, a field, a rhythm. I no longer believed in God. I no longer held that religious connection, but something more intimate emerged. I knew God, consciousness, by its infinite names. I speak of consciousness not to reduce God to a thought, but to honor the awareness behind all things. Consciousness is not a concept. It's the living mirror, the breath before belief. It's how the divine moves through grief, through joy, through silence. Not as doctrine, but as the breath, as presence, as the way the wind moves through the trees, and even deeper than that, even the frequencies that emerge within the trees. If God cannot be named, then perhaps God can be seen in symbols, in rhythms, in archetypes. In Hinduism, God is light, rather Yoti, radiant and eternal. In Buddhism, God is seen as emptiness, otherwise known as sunyata, not absence, but spaciousness. You're beginning to see the connections? In Shinto, the divine is the tree, the river, the fox, Kami in every breath of nature. In Zen, God is the space between thoughts, the silence after the bell. In native traditions, God is the mirror, reflecting back your own face, your own knowing. Sometimes God is the root system beneath us. Sometimes the wind that moves through it. Sometimes God is grief, and sometimes joy. God is both the perceived bad and good in life, or should I say the yin and yang, shadow and light. Sometimes God is the question itself. I've known God as the ocean, as the nightless sky, as the field of ever-expanding awareness that holds both. And I've known God through the body, through the chakras, each center a layer of the divine, root as survival and sacred ground when it comes to overcoming the fear of uncertainty, the fear of life in its entirety, the sacral as creation and flow, creating that emotional depth, not to cling to, but to understand emotions. This is a divine practice. This is part of understanding your nature. The solar as will and radiance. The solar or the sun is where identity is made. Ego is shaped. Ego is honed. And willpower is ignited. The heart as love and bridge. Every time you show compassion, you automatically create something called neuroplasticity within yourself and others, making a bridge and connections with others that you would have never thought possible. The third eye as vision and knowing. The crown as silence and source, which is non-attachment. This does not mean detaching yourself from everything. It means having the courage, the heart, and the clarity to understand each experience of life is not meant to change you. It's not meant to forcefully harm you in a negative way. It's there to help you understand what has not been clear to you as yet. It is there to help you grow. They are mirrors, and when we explore them, we're not just understanding ourselves, we're tracing the layers of God within us. And in doing so, we begin to understand all that exists with it. Infinite names, yet no edges. You do not need to believe in God. You don't need to name it. But maybe you felt it in the way grief softens you, in the way joy has expanded you, and in the way that silence holds you. Maybe God is not a being, but a way of being. Not a destination, but a rhythm. Not something to worship, but something to remember. So I'll ask again, when you say God, what do you mean? And what opens in you when the answer dissolves? The Formless Guide is not a belief system. It's not here to convince or convert. It's a rhythm of being, a mirror for your own knowing, not belief, but being. Within this being, truth will be felt, and everything that you needed to know, everything that you wanted to understand, everything that you questioned will be available to you. So follow along and watch as we continue to unveil the formless nature within us all. This is your Formless Guide, signing off.